talking brain, enlightened minds, seeking out truths, seeing the world with the mind of those who see beyond the three-dimensionally. So, talking brain, ask the right questions, uncovers the blinds.
Hey. How y'all doing today? Welcome to Being Love TV's
Souls Talking Brain Show. Ta-da! I'm Alina Hornesian, and this is
Ronnie Lipstein. How y'all doing? We are just, we're laughing because we're playing around with the new technology that we are using here on Ustream, so bear with us if you don't mind.
It's like toys, you know?
Yeah.
We're playing with toys.
Playing with toys.
Basically the toys that you see around your screen right now. So the fact that we're here right now is through a toy. There you go.
So thank you so very much for joining us today. And did you want to introduce our subject for today's show?
Yes, I would like to, actually.
All righty then.
That would be really good.
Okay.
That would be really good. Yes. Today's topic that we have chosen to share with you all is mastering your personality.
What does that mean?
Well, it's a good question.
I know.
It's a very good question.
I thought so.
What does it mean to master your personality? I guess the best thing is, what do we mean?
Yes, we did come up with the subject.
We
title
did
for
come
the
up with
show.
it. Yes. So
what does it mean?
So what is it that we are obviously wanting to talk about? Because, anyone can read anything and can be perceived in anyone's perceived, way that they want to take it, however it is. So it can mean so many different things. But,
absolutely.
But here today and now, we are wanting to talk about, first of all, mastering being that perfecting, I guess you could say, right? Mastering would be perfecting is perfecting your personality. And what does that mean by your personality?
Can I disclaimer in there quickly?
Go right ahead.
So using the word perfecting might be a little off-putting to some people because we are all inherently imperfectly perfect. So mastering one's personality as imperfectly perfect as one can so do. Good?
Good disclaimer.
Thank you.
It's a good one.
Thank you all.
Make note of that, please. Got it? Okay.
Moving on.
So your personality is basically everything that makes you pretty much you. In with respect to who you are and how you present yourself in this world, the characteristics, your mannerisms, all of that. Anything that your whole experience that shapes you since you were born and develops into being, poof, you, just like that. So, with respect to personality and mastering it, what form are we wanting to be able to first begin with to try to get into what it is that we would like to share today with our lovely, fabulous, wonderful people watching today?
I'm not sure what.
In the very beginning, so like introducing what it is, how we want to get into our subject.
What exactly we're specifically talking about.
So, pretty much where it came from.
Essentially, what we would like to look at is the idea that for most of us, the majority of us actually, when we go out into the public world, we present a certain personality, to the world. Some of us are more transparent or authentic with what we present, whilst others of us put on what we can call a mask. Something to show to the world that we may not necessarily feel within ourselves to be authentic, or something that we put on in order to protect that within us that is authentic. So the questions that we were pondering in creating today's show were, why do people wear masks? Why do they put them on? How do they use them? Are they effective? And if they're effective, are they effective to other people? In other words, when you put on your mask, are you actually fooling anyone? Or are you only fooling yourself? And in so doing, are you creating a level of comfort that you otherwise may not be feeling? Hence the need, or the feeling of the need to put the mask on in the first place.
Wouldn't you say that being that putting on a mask, you know, I mean, could that also be mastering the personality as the mask? Because,
No.
I mean, in either case, well, a lot of people can also be, we ourselves as human beings can be fooled by our own masks.
Yes, but that's moving. Okay, so you've now jumped 100 miles ahead. But yes.
Of course.
More often than not, we're fooling ourselves.
Well, exactly.
Right? You answered the question that, we were supposed to have a whole discussion about.
Well, I mean, personality. I mean, is mastering your personality. You know, is anything really yours? Is anything really mine? Is anything really ours? You know, we are how billions of personalities, and billions of personalities that make one personality is all pretty much. A lot of it is also taken, right? It's not. It's also like, you know, it's when you grow up and you become who you are. That's one thing, but your personality and how you present yourself, that's most of it is in control, which is why, you know, we have the title saying mastering your personality. Is you're mastering the personality that is you according to the ways you want to present it.
Okay.
Out here.
Okay.
So with respect to personality, which is what you were saying with respect to people who are wearing masks, as opposed to showing their true personality or hiding behind a mask, I find it's kind of it's a very fine line between the two. It's almost the same. I mean, really.
Well, for the most part, I find that when we go out in public and we put on whatever it is that we put on to show to the public, we wind up fooling really ourselves, creating this illusory level of comfort with respect to feeling the confidence that we require in order to be out in the public. Because as soon as you're out in the public, people are seeing you, and there's this automatic, for most of us, feeling of fear with respect to people judging you based upon what they see. So we put on this facade, but the reality is that you're still you. So wherever you're going, you're still being you. So oftentimes you may think that you are putting it on when in reality you're being seen clearly by others. Not only clearly, but they can see that you're putting it on.
Well, you would hope in this day and age it is seen clear, because it is. You can tell when somebody is putting something on, when it's, hence why the term that we say, oh, it's just so put on, right?
No, but I'm not even necessarily something that is so obvious. It's just like certain, for example, if somebody is shy or socially awkward, right? They may tell themselves that they are, they may be feeding themselves information mentally to feel better about themselves.
Okay.
And so they may be thinking that they are putting something on in order for them to feel more comfortable, but the reality is that people can still see that somebody is shy or somebody is socially awkward. And from my experience, more often than not, it is that very thing that someone is feeling uncomfortable about or unsure about that endears them to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more like that fine line that you were discussing, where it's not so much what we're putting on, or what we believe we're hiding, as much as it is a mental feeling that we're having about ourselves.
Right,
which is a very fine line. That's why it's such a fine line, because it's the difference between walking out and owning yourself and walking out and being afraid of owning yourself. Because either way, it's still you who's walking out.
Well, it's I guess this is pretty much what mastering your personality really is.
Yes, it's owning who you are. It's owning who you are, good, bad, beautiful, and ugly, because you accept who you are, good, bad, beautiful, and ugly. And you realize that the one person who may be judging you, or who may be, making their calculated assessment of who you are, that truly matters is you. So, you can go out into the world and you can get people that will point their fingers and laugh at you, people that will point their fingers and drop their jaw in awe. But the reality of the situation is that the one person who truly, authentically needs to be feeling good about who that person is yourself. And when you do have that feeling of self-love, acceptance for who you are, that discomfort that creates this feeling for the need to have to put on the mask dissipates.
Okay, so then mastering your personality pretty much is building or gaining, achieving your confidence.
Your confidence, 100%. Your confidence, your trust in yourself, self-love.
So but your personality it's a tricky one, right? Your personality, boy, you really got to love yourself if you got to master your personality. You really do, right?
Yeah.
You got to love your personality. You've got to love if you are an assertive person, if you're an introverted person, if you are a shy person, if you are high energy, if you are quiet, if you are whatever ways that
you have to be comfortable in your own skin to allow yourself to be who you are without feeling the need to have to wear some coat of armor in order to protect yourself.
So then you are
from other people seeing these parts of you. And as you said earlier, the personality is comprised of a multitude of layers. We aren't just one way.
Yeah.
Somebody who is extraordinarily extroverted and bouncy and social and fabulous and everything in one environment might be unbelievably obsessive compulsive and meticulous and detail oriented in another environment. And sorry. So and vice versa, which is the flip side of the wearing the mask, which is also a very interesting thing that I have found as well, is that oftentimes when people are being completely authentic, when presenting self to the public, you're only presenting so much of you at any one given time. If you're at a party, you're not sitting down calculating your budget or doing your accounting, for example. You're at a party, you're playing, and that is the you that is being seen, right? So the other you who might be, doing your taxes or doing the laundry, taking care of your children, yada, 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 is not necessarily going to be seen as clearly. And oftentimes what I have found is that when one is presenting their authenticity, it is misinterpreted to be the end-all, be-all of someone's personality. Like, that's who that person is, because this is all that's being seen. So it's almost like either way you go, it's going to be misinterpreted, because unless somebody truly takes the time and has enough experiences with someone in so many varying environments, situations, stimuli, etc., you don't ever really know the full breadth of somebody,
This is true.
right?
You don't know. Well, that's why they say, it's when you're spending, the more time you spend with somebody doing different things, the more you get to know who this person is, right? And the same thing, the personality needs to be practiced because it's being out here with other people. And that's when the personality is really coming out, right? So mastering your personality, if you is another way to basically saying is loving yourself for all of the things that you are,
Well,
and all
yeah.
of your personality and your characteristics of yourself, especially when you're just being around people. Because a lot of people just really just don't like the way they are, or the way they seem, the way they come off, all these, whatever. There's so many different things that we are conditioned to not like about ourselves the minute we are born, because we are taught to compare. But regardless, we are still required to practice our personality, and practicing meaning that being interacting, because that's the only way that your personality is going to be polished, practiced being. And
Well,
mastered.
I think that's
because you can't really master your personality when you're just not interacting with people. So you're not really getting to know your personality when you're not really being.
I don't know.
Or interacting with people.
Definitely,
to a degree.
Definitely, interacting with people is allows for a more fuller opportunity to master. I would say that in mastering the personality, it is number one, accepting all of the aspects of who you are, and number two, because again, just to make that point where I was saying, like, whether you're being completely authentic or you're putting on a mask, at the end of the day, those who are looking are not necessarily truly getting the full breadth of who you are. So at the end of the day, the one person who really needs to know you, who really needs to accept you and love you and who's not judging of you is yourself. And to be able to then take that personality and master it is to be able to accept the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, and then to make the conscious choice as to which aspects of your personality you would like to flourish and which aspects you would rather diminish or quiet.
So which is basically mastering those aspects that you bringing out more that you enjoy being.
Yeah.
So if you're not being, if you are not, enjoying being a certain way,
then stop being like that. Which means that then you have to make the choice, because again, the personality is so multitude in its layers, right? There's a common saying which I think for most of my life has driven me a little bit bonkers, and has led to many a debate, to say the least, which is that people don't change. And
well, there is some truth to that.
To be as subtle as I can be, I think that's a crock of baloney.
Not ham, but bologna.
Well, I could have said something else.
Well, again, you have to explain exactly what that is. Obviously,
a crock of shit. I think it's a crock of shit. Okay,
there we go.
There we go. No subtlety there whatsoever. Because the personality is so multi-layered. Sorry, there's Littlefoot hair everywhere now. Because the personality is so multi-layered, granted, I agree with what you were saying, that there is some level of truth with respect to that statement, that people don't change per se. You are who you are.
Well, your character doesn't change, right?
At the same time, there is so much that makes you who you are, and you always, each of we, have the conscious choice to share which parts of the multitude of who we are we want to share with the world. And so to me, the true definition of mastering one's personality is to make the conscious choice as to what it is you're going to allow others to see, which I guess would be what you were saying originally, well, isn't wearing the mask therefore mastering, but I wouldn't agree in that level, because wearing the mask means that you're not authentically being. it's like, again, it's like that fine line where you make the decision that these are the things that I like, these are the things I don't like. I'm going to do what I need to do to assist myself with the things I don't like, because they exist for a reason, and become the person I want to be in all ways of so being. And therefore, you're not wearing the mask. You are being who you love yourself to be. Do you know what I mean?
Being the mask.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Yes.
But that's
yes.
but that's
be the mask.
But that's my point. I mean, we can. I mean, as far as we go, there's physical, biological things that we come with. That's within our DNA. That's within our genes, passed on, whether throughout, that we come with. It's inherent. It's in biological within us, right? There's those certain things, the characteristics of those specific things. Which for sure, I'm sure there's, we are all energy. So at the end of the day, through energy and anything is pretty much possible. In either case, your personality is just as much masks, because when you're developing and you're growing, we are taking on different aspects and characteristics and personas per se, that we enjoy. That's why we take them on. And so therefore, that's kind of like, little pieces of the mask that you're collecting throughout, and
so
therefore,
then I think,
therefore you're mastering your personality. Is kind of like you're mastering. I mean, really, like, who are we, right?
But then,
at the end of the day,
again, so then you have to also define what do we
how
mean
are you
by,
performing
by
in this
wearing
world?
the mask,
that's
right.
That's the mask. The mask is that you're.
Are you putting it on just when you're out in public? Or is this who you authentically are choosing to be?
But then who are you authentically? That's my point.
Whoever you choose.
Well, then exactly.
That you want to be.
Exactly. So if you're whoever you are choosing to be and you're taking on, is then again, which is the fine line of really the mask that you're wearing, which is the personality, is pretty much a fine line of whatever it is that you are choosing, whichever you're taking on.
Right,
that you're
but if you are going out into the world, and from my
you can't really,
from my understanding, right, utilizing the term wearing the mask would be that you are uncomfortable in your beingness.
Right. Okay, well,
so you're not putting on a mask that you're like, yes, number one, which I also don't think is appropriate, because you aren't being authentic, because unless you're wearing that in the privacy of your home.
Are you wearing what?
that. In the privacy of your home, and that's how you're feeling about yourself authentically, right? Then you're just putting it on, then it's a show. It's not truth. It's not authentic. Well. So we have to define what we're talking about here when we're saying putting on a mask.
Okay, well, why don't we do that? Give these lovely folks and fabulous people a moment that we could take a break and come back and discuss further into mastering your personality.
Bliss, bliss, bliss. So we're back.
Share the love, share the love, share the love. Yes, that means you, the viewer who is watching, if you are enjoying and wanting to give back, you can share this video. You can share it from our YouTube channel. You can share it from here from Ustream. There's multitudes of ways. Obviously, in this day and age, you can take into the YouTube videos. You can go and share button. And you can share it through all your social networks or on your website and share what it is here that we do here on Being Love TV.
Sharing is caring, and it's a beautiful way of expressing your gratitude. And we are most deeply grateful to you for so doing. Thank you very much. So, back to mastering your personality.
Your personality.
So, before we took the break, we had come to the conclusion that we obviously needed to be able to have a firmer grasp on what we were saying with respect to the masks that people wear, and where we're coming from with respect to that. Because I think from a more global perspective, Aline was pointing out the fact, very astutely I might add, that the reality is that although we each come here with certain inbred characteristics to our personality, we also choose how we are going to present, polish,
perform
those aspects of whom we are. So, and that is a lifetime of
it's your entire life.
Yeah, it's an evolutionary process. It's never exactly
every day when you are being conscious of when you're being conscious of your beingness, then you are mastering your personality. Because being conscious is that you're not but then then you should be able to get to the place where you're actually not necessarily having to be, well, you should always be conscious no matter what.
Like this, by the way, is what we call a Gemini mind.
It's like you have to be conscious. So no matter what, you got to be conscious. But my point is, when you
want to be in a state of relaxed.
Yes,
beingness.
well, you don't want to
be.
So
yes, conscious.
Yes,
but relaxed.
Yes,
conscious, but relaxed. It's very important.
When you are when one is feeling confident. And confidence really comes from liking yourself. Confidence is
authentic confidence as opposed to arrogance.
Well,
or
yes, no, of
something
course.
else. Yes,
no. We're not talking about arrogance or conceit or any of that, because that's not authentic and that's not loving self.
And that would be putting on the mask.
Right.
So that is exactly the difference that we're discussing here.
Okay.
Is the inauthenticity versus the authenticity. Sorry, go ahead.
The part where you are confident within yourself, therefore you are liking certain aspects of your beingness, and what your beingness is how you're being, and how you're walking, how you're talking, how you're sitting, how you're carrying yourself, all of those things. Eventually, you'll get to a place where, which is experience, really, in this lifetime. The more you live, you get to a place where you maintain a grander confidence of your own aspects of those certain aspects of yourself, that you just become it. Therefore, it even appears and looks confident to the other when they are seeing it. Right? It shows. Confidence shows. Right? That being said, when you have reached that level, you are going in even more and more layers, furthering into mastering your personality, because there is so many different layers to one specific type of personality that you can even further go into.
Not to mention the fact that the very experience of life itself shapes your personality. It shapes who you are. You know, as a young child, somebody might be totally into astronomy. And then as a teenager, they might be more interested in engineering. And as an adult, they might someday have this epiphany of interest in the esoteric. And each of these things will shape how they are being, who they are being, right? Because if you are if your nose is all about astronomy, then you're associating with different people, you are doing different things, it's shaping you in different ways, it's having an effect on you, right? And it shifts how you are being, who you are. So as much as there are infinite levels within the personality, there is also infinite evolution of the personality.
Exactly.
Right? So, you are continuously, who I am today is not the same person that I was 20 years ago, nor do I believe I will be the same person in 20 years from now. Not to say that there shan't be remnants of myself that I've carried through from the time that I was born. Indeed, absolutely. But again,
I think you would still kind of be. I mean, there's a nucleus. There's a center. There's always that center that you are still you. So like
I know, but even that, what the center is the all. So what part are we actually feeding into, and feeding to others? Right? It all comes from the same, but I'm giving you this piece of the pie today, and next year I might give you this piece, and another year I might, do you know what I'm saying?
So how can you know the difference? If somebody has mastered their mask as opposed to their personality, which I think is pretty much somewhat
the same.
Right?
Well, that is actually, we should stop there for a moment and just take a moment.
Take a moment.
That's a big statement right there, is that the personality and the mask usually are the same. So who are you fooling?
Who are you fooling?
Right?
Yes.
And that is the fine line we're talking about, is the recognition that the mask is you at the same time. And so when you get to the point where you can accept and find comfort within the fact that you are who you are hoping to be, you are who you hope you are. You are everything fabulous in you that you want to be. When we can accept that, that's the difference between wearing the mask and mastering the personality.
When you can tell the difference?
When you can accept that you are everything that you are putting the mask on to be in the first place, right? People put on the mask because they want to feel confident. They want people to see them as this, that, or whatever, right? Well, when you can accept that you are whatever, when you can accept that, wait a minute, I don't need to put it on. I am it.
Well,
I am the on.
Well, I mean, eventually,
that's the fine line we were talking about.
Eventually, sometimes you can get lost between what you were putting on that started off because you were pretending or putting on an actual mask and just putting it on, and then eventually liked it so much that you just
became
it, and then eventually you're...
But if you're the one who's putting it on to begin with, it's coming out of you.
Aha! So
that is the fine line.
So okay, so then I don't want to forget. So basically, when it's something that you yourself are consciously doing or unconsciously, it really doesn't matter because it's still you, because it's coming from you. So look at that, everybody.
Yeah.
We're all full of shit.
I would like to make another disclaimer, as I often do, and make it a point of stating that we are not talking about individuals who are maliciously putting on a mask to purposefully, in a negative
We're not talking about actors. We're not talking about movie actors.
Not even movie actors. We're not
We're like
talking
pretending
about
to be somebody that they're not, like
who are putting something on for the purposes of ensnarling others in some mischievous intention. So, right?
Yes.
We're talking about people who authentically are just trying to make themselves feel more comfortable with themselves in public. It's a completely different show that we would be doing if we were talking about Machiavellian devils in disguise who are consciously putting it on to ensnarl, the potential victims that they see that they can get in their way.
Not, I mean, this grossly deceptively intentionally done. So long as it's...
So that's not what we're talking about
we're not
here.
talking about that.
So I just want to make that disclaimer because, yes, there are people who put it on and they are putting it on for disgusting purposes and it's not who they are at all, right? I mean, there is that part of them in there that's there, which it's coming from them, so obviously it's there, but it's not the part of them that they are choosing consciously to be polishing. So again, we're talking about people who are feeling the need to wear some kind of protective suit of armor in order to allow them to have that level of comfort when they are in the public with themselves.
I think in most cases, I think people just do that. Just there's so much of like the minute you're born into this life, everything is all about how somebody else is looking at you and how somebody else is thinking of you, or trying to impress somebody else or something else or whatever. So it's really constantly, we're constantly doing that. I think we're constantly
doing what?
Constantly putting it on, not in a deceptive way. We're figuring out how can I fit in here? It's kind of like.
But I don't know that that's necessarily putting it on, right? Like that is.
Well, I mean,
in each.
Well,
like again,
you're trying it on. You're putting it on like you're seeing.
Yeah, but the doctor's not going to walk into his family dinner with his scalpel, right? All right, everybody, it's dinner time. Let me slice and dice. It's just like, do you know what I mean? Okay, next course, please, secretary. That's not happening. Right. It's a different part of the personality that's coming forward, right?
Okay, yeah.
So yes, you are always choosing which part of you is most appropriate to be showing in any given situation, dependent upon what that situation is, who the people are. Again, as we stipulated, we are multidimensional in our physical beingness, our mental beingness, our emotional beingness, our personality as well. Completely. So there are different aspects, which is why I was saying that, it's funny that whether we're putting it on or we're being completely authentic, oftentimes most people who will make a judgment of you are not making a judgment on all of the facts. So they're making a partial judgment. Nobody really knows you but you and those who are the closest to you, and even they don't know you as well as you know you, and even you don't know you as well as you think you do.
Again, we know nothing. So, but yes.
And yet everything.
Yes, exactly. But it's very interesting that when you're saying with respect to the different aspects of your beingness, because you're so many different personas in different situations.
Right.
Period. I could become a completely different individual.
Oh my gosh.
Put me in another setting. And I can be a different person, but no, it's still me. It's obviously,
but it's other parts of you that you're showing.
Yes,
it's all you.
Yes,
so what of the all of you are you showing? Like you would never walk in to hold a baby with your computer in your hand, and I've got to calculate this, like that's right. Do you know what I mean? So
I think a really good...
And you would never be working on your computer going, oh, chapuka la 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 la.
Maybe.
Well, with you never know.
You never know. This is very true. I would say that this would be a really wonderful... It's really good and important to bring up this particular topic that we are talking about, obviously, because there are a lot of people out there who really have social awkwardness or shyness or fear of whatever that may be, to be around and being interactive and just being yourself and your beingness. And for some people it can be quite a torturous, really torturous place to be, because you're when somebody is
continuously questioning and unsure and
therefore judging and therefore whatever that may be. So I think
judging self.
Well, when you're judging yourself, then you're automatically going to judge the other.
Well, you're judging the other insofar as you're putting your judgment of self onto the other, right?
Well, yes.
Yes. So you're not necessarily judging them
No.
per se,
But what
as
is really
much as
judging-
judging them, judging you.
But what is
right?
really judging somebody else? It's the same thing.
No.
When you're judging, no?
No.
You're judging them basically. Well,
No,
it's
it's
just
not a judgment of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? When somebody is so
No, it's based upon yourself.
is so like this,
Uh-huh.
right? It's because they are judging themselves, that comfort level that we were talking about,
Mhm.
where you take off the mask and you're just being you.
Mhm.
When you're not, your judgment is projected onto other people, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
you are.
I think we're saying the same thing.
No,
Or was- I was
because
just
you
not-
are thinking to yourself that they are judging you the way you're judging yourself.
No.
So it's not that you are judging them necessarily, but in a way you are.
You're
because
putting your own on
Yeah.
them. Yes. You're putting your own judgment onto the other. It's like a projection.
You are thinking that they are judging you,
Well, that too.
which in and of itself is a form of judgment, because you're now making them into this like judging monster, which they're not. It's you. But do you see what I mean?
I completely see what and hopefully you all understand what it is that we're talking about. Speaking of, we are obviously, this is going to be recorded, and so whenever you're watching this, if you're watching this right now, obviously you're watching it live.
Thank you so much for joining us live. We really appreciate it. Yay! Yay, you! Way to go!
You get a gold star. And
infinite blessings.
And if you're watching this recorded, obviously, which you can also
Yay, you too! Infinite blessings.
You're all winners, okay? You're all awesome. You can also, everything is recorded and uploaded live up to our YouTube channel, which is right there. You see on the screen right now. It's Soul Stalking Brain. And I was forgetting where I was going with this. Where I was going with this with respect to sharing.
Well, do you want to put up our email so people can get a hold of us?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, I figured that might be what it is.
So good. So good.
Get to know people a little
yes.
bit more. You can start, knowing what they're thinking. Ooh.
Oh,
La, la, la.
now that's another topic right onto itself. Where do you begin and I end?
Nice. I like that.
On that note, we're just going to take one
Wait,
moment.
put the email, no?
Well,
you
we
want
can
to do it after?
We'll do it after, yes.
We'll do it
I
after.
think they can see it from here,
if we
too.
remember.
Yes.
'Cause
Stay right there. Don't move. Don't move. Whatever you do.
No, you can shimmy.
You can do that. We'll be right back. Ta-da!
Do you see what she did there?
What did I do there?
She put up the email. It was in the commercial.
But of course
so
I did.
Good.
But of course I did.
So,
yes.
for
go.
those who would like to get a hold of us, do you want to put up the email again for people to see?
Yes.
Whether it is to share a subject that you would like to hear us talk about on our Souls Talking Brain show here on Being Love TV. If you would like to suggest a guest, as we do guest interviews here, which we absolutely adore.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to advertise or sponsor one of our shows, or just to get in touch with us, that is the email address, and that is where you can get a hold of us personally and directly, and we will, of course, answer you ASAP, and are very grateful to hear from you and to interact with you, both here on the show and through the email. So thank you so very much for making use of manners by which we may stay in touch.
We also do different segments where in Soul Stalking Brain show. When we first started off because as we are just now starting back the season of 2014, We are going to be starting to slowly bring back to you all the other segments that we had. One which was a featured good deed doer. And a featured good deed doer is basically a good deed doer that that whether it is that you may know someone, whether it's a organization, people, certain things, whatever events, whatever that may be, that are doing
Products, services,
mhm.
special events that are occurring. If there is
That are doing
something
good.
that inspires
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
as something that you feel should be shared for the benefit of all, something that you feel will uplift, empower, enlighten, assist, then one of the other things we would love to hear from you are your suggestions for good deed doers, whom we shall be showcasing on our shows to come.
Mm-hmm. Good things, good people, good events, good things in the world that are happening is all what we love to share in this in our show. It is what we are all about. Is sharing the love, is basically creating a positive change as much as we can through many ways and means and peoples as there are in this world. So please do let us know.
You.
Yes.
We greatly appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
we have a few more minutes left before the show is ended. So
What you want to bring back to what we left off, which was really,
yes.
really, really cool.
Okay, please do recap
No,
the coolness.
well, you said it last, so you've got it, because I'm not going to say it the same way as you did. So that was really, and as I was trying to remember, so how you perfectly stated it. You don't remember.
I'm not sure what it is that you're speaking to.
Well, just where we left off.
Which is?
With, it's worse than wine brain.
Coming back to our subject,
yes.
which is mastering the personality.
Which is you. Which is you within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, because I think the last thing I was saying was the disclaimer doll.
Oh, yeah, and I think actually,
I
think the last thing that we said with respect to that, which is that no matter what, the mask with your personality being real, or what is, no matter what, it's still you because it's coming from you.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, I said, well, where do I begin and where do you end?
Yeah, that's a whole other show. So, getting back to our show today, Mastering the Personality. Again, it's really taking into account that, again, we are multidimensional, we are multi-layered. There are so many aspects of self that one may be showcasing both in the privacy and comfort of one's own home as well as in the public sphere, is to be able to get to a point where, as we stated at the very start of the show, actually, you are in a place of comfort and acceptance with who you are, the good, the bad, the beautiful, and the ugly. Oh, we've got a comment here. Wonderful. Just before we have to go. Where did it go?
I don't know. It was here and now it went.
Oh, we can't find it.
Oh, but that's okay. Go on, continue.
So, again, it is getting to the point where whatever aspect of yourself you are sharing in any given moment, in any given situation, you yourself are at a place of comfort. You're in a place of relaxed ease. So you don't feel the need to have to put it on. If you feel the need that you should be sharing one part of you over another, it's a conscious choice that you are making in comfort, in confidence, in trust, and in self-love. And I think the most important thing to realize for any of we is that that person that we are all hoping that we can be, that, you know, when you look at somebody and you go, wow, they're so amazing, I wish I could be like that, is recognizing that the reason you're seeing that in someone else is because it's in you already. It is you. So these feelings of self-doubt and insecurity that we aren't who we hope that we want to be, the reality is that we are all that we hope we are. And it's just a point of getting to a place where we actually accept that.
Hmm.
And then the masks that we place that keep us from mastering our personality very naturally fall away. And we are left with just being we, a beautiful example of self-love.
Very nice. At the end of the day, yes. Yes. So, mastering your personality is mastering you loving you. Mastering the being that you love yourself in all of those aspects of self that you like to be, and not having and not necessarily having to settle for being anything less than what you like to be,
Or making excuses,
mm-hmm.
or having to explain how you can be a complete and utter goofball one minute and the most serious and meticulous the next.
Mm-hmm.
We are multiplicit in our beingness. Multiplicit. You can be the biggest goofball and the most responsible, serious human being all at the same time. Amazing, aren't we?
I think it's it would be a really great sort of exercise for anyone to sort of, if it is something about wanting to bring it forth, perfecting their confidence level, right? Our confidence level, because your confidence is pretty much your personality. That we granted there's people who are confident in what it is that they do,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's something. But as your beingness, as a person, your confidence should be given somehow taken from what we were just talking about, and allowing yourself to give yourself the practice of personality, of all your personalities and your beingness, is practicing it. And practicing it means is being conscious of your beingness when you're interacting with people, and as well in different circumstances and experiences. Which, when you're doing that consciously, you are practicing, and then therefore you are allowing yourself to gain the confidence that you seek, that you may think that you do not have, that you would like to have, with respect to your
Are
own
you meaning
personality.
being conscious of or like conscious in the essence that you are being the objectified third party watching yourself be yourself?
Yeah, you're being
so that
aware.
you're giving yourself
Yeah,
the gift of actually seeing just how amazing you are.
pretty much, you're becoming like the objective observer,
Mm-hmm.
when you're being.
Right.
So, and that's not to say that you should just be. You should definitely just be. You shouldn't have to.
Right.
You
Well,
know, when
that's
you're
the
being,
balance.
you shouldn't have to be. Yeah, it's a fine line. It's a fine line, and
It's finding that balance for sure.
Balance is exactly that, which is, mastering your personality is that fine line.
Aline and me would like to thank Monsieur Angel BD for the initial stimulating conversation that inspired this show. Thank you so very much, Monsieur. And to everyone else, we thank you all very much for coming and sharing with us in the show today. It's been a glorious experience, as it always is. Aline?
And I would like to leave you all with much love and positive energies in your days and evenings and mornings, and your interactions and your beingness, and most of all within yourself, that you may wake up and start to master your personality in the way you love yourself to be, and allow yourself to be someone you love. and enjoy.
And it is a most glorious time, actually, to be doing just that.
Mm-hmm.
As tomorrow we enter into a new moon in Scorpio with a partial solar eclipse transiting through Venus. We've got a little Pisces in there that's assisting us with Neptune, and a whole whack of other fabulousness occurring. So this is actually a most auspicious time to be able to look within, and look within with love's eyes, and to be able, as Aline was saying at the beginning of the show, whether you're a bubbly firefly or a quiet mouse, to see the beauty in who you are and embellish it with as much self-love as you possibly can, and be the best shy or firefly or whatever it is that you are that you can be.
Wonderful. Until next time, please stay posted. You can go to our Facebook page and you will stay up to date with all of the upcoming shows that we have coming up here on Being Love TV. We also are going to be starting to broadcast Radiating Love with Ronnie Lipstein coming soon as well. So stay tuned. You can visit the Facebook, which is the address is on the screen right now, Facebook page. Please like it, and therefore you get all the updates of what's coming up here with us at Sanctuary Soul Sanctuary. And I think that is it so far. I am Alina Hanessian.
I am Ronnie Lipstein. This is Soul's Talking Brain on Being Love TV. Thank you so much for joining us. Blessedly be.
Souls, talking brain, enlightened minds, seeking out truths, seeing the world with the mind of those who see beyond the three-dimensionally. Souls, talking brain, ask the right questions, uncovers the blinds. Souls, talking brain, enlightening minds, oh yeah, seeking out truth. Souls,